Hola, I'm Heidi and welcome to a very, very special episode of Money Talks. Okay, so syempre, May pa ngayon, so it's still Mother's Month. We wouldn't want naman to miss this month to celebrate syempre yung mga power women natin na kung tawagin din natin ay mga mommies natin, 'di ba? And right now, I really want to have this episode with my very very special guest because when I first kasi we've not seen each other during the pandemic, and then the next time na nagkita kami sa office, dun ko lang nalaman na meron pala siyang pinagdadaanan na sobrang lala. And nung kinuwento niya sa akin yung story about it, that's the only time that I realized na sobrang grabe yung pinagdaanan niya. And I guess no mother would want to be in that kind of situation where kung saan siya napunta during that time. And ngayon that we are having this very, very special episode of Money Talks about motherhood, siya yung talagang gusto kong i-invite kasi yung nangyari sa kanya at kung paano niya yung pinagdaanan, sobrang heroic yun for me and sobrang brave nun for me. And I feel that a lot of you who will be watching, who will be listening to this episode in Spotify would also feel na sobrang galing nitong babae na to. And guys, without further ado, nasa office pa siya ngayon, hindi pa siya umuwi just because of this episode. But I'm really thankful she's here. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Ricci Sarao. Hi, sis!
Hello! Hi! Good. Ano ba yan? Di pa tayo nagsa-start? Umiiyak ka na, girl.
Napansin mo ang baba ng
Ayan.
emosyon ko sis. Diyos
Oo,
ko.
oo. Ay,
Ay, naku,
ako pa naman simultaneous ako. Pag may umiiyak, naiiyak din ako.
may
Ganon
katabi
ako.
akong tissue ngayon sis, just in case. So, meron din nag-suggest na dapat daw tuwalya yata yung dalhin ko. So, anyway, malalaman natin yan. Inano ko naman, kinondisyon ko naman yung sarili ko ngayong araw na to na sana hindi naman ako maging emotional.
Oo nga, ako din. Ngayon pa ako nag-deep breathing exercises.
Okay, bago muna tayo dun sa mga mabibigat na eksena. Mabibigat na eksena. Kamusta ka muna, sis? Anong pinagagawa mo lately?
I'm good. I'm just working, taking care of my family, of course. And overall, well, still okay and grateful sobra kasi despite everything that's happening in the world today, andito pa ako, andito pa yung family ko, andito pa lahat ng kakilala ko, lahat ng loved ones ko. But for those who passed away, ng mga kakilala ko, God bless their soul. But I'm very, very grateful to still be here today.
Totoo. Ngayon talaga ma-realize natin how blessed we are to survive all of these things, no? And
True,
speaking of
true.
survival, sis, malaking-malaking survival talaga yung nangyari dun sa family ninyo, 'di ba? With the kind of situation that you were in during that time. But before we go to that story, sis, ako I would always ask my guests this question kasi lagi akong curious kung what was it like during their childhood, 'di ba? Kasi
Mm.
I would always think na kaya ganun sila ngayon kasi dahil do sa kabataan nila yon. So how was it like during your childhood?
I would say I'm one of the blessed ones, no. My childhood was very, very fun, yan. And of course, yung parents ko are both very active dun sa parang brotherhood ng mga church people nila. So, basically, I grew up with religious people. Not too religious na, na like pastor or anything like that. We're Catholic naman, but we do have this brotherhood, and we call it the BCBP. And I grew up knowing the people from there. So, medyo, if we're gonna talk about faith, I think one of the strongest foundations ko as a person now talaga is the faith part. Now, growing up with my parents, it was always fun. Never ko nakita na may problema sila, no? Hindi nila pinapakita sa amin. Alam ko minsan pag nasa CR silang dalawa, nag-aaway sila, ganon. Pero never namin narinig sila mag-away or mag-argue or anything like that. So I think, I would say my childhood was really more of, I was brought up in an environment of love and God-fearing people around me as well. So yun, masaya naman. lahat na ibibigay ng tatay ko dati. Kasi daddy ko, ano rags to riches yon yung daddy ko. No? So, malaking bagay din sa kanya yung maibibigay niya sa amin, yung hindi niya nakuha nung bata siya.
Yeah. And Sarao, ito yung ano, 'di ba? Yung sa mga jeep.
Yeah. Well, actually, ang Sarao is the last name of my ex-husband. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Tamad lang
okay,
ako
okay.
magpalit.
Ano ba?
Ang hirap magpalit ng name. No? But,
Tama, tama, tama. Oo nga. So,
so,
well,
may abiso naman from him. Okay
bilang
lang.
sinabi mo na ex-husband, so you are now living a single motherhood life, which is,
Yes.
yun pa yung nakapagpaano, 'di ba? Nakapagpa-brave sa'yo eh, 'di ba? Sa mga lahat ng mga nangyayaring ito. So, okay. So now that you brought up yung sa husband, syempre nagkaroon kayo
Oo.
ng anak sis, syempre, 'di ba? And
Mm-mm.
I want to know, tell us about your feelings when you had your first child, si Wolf. Si Wolf kasi yung first, 'di ba? So
Yes,
how was it like?
he's my panganay.
Mm-mm.
Syempre at first, kasi I wasn't here in the Philippines when I gave birth, no. So, at first nakakatakot kasi during the time na pregnant ako, I didn't have parang anyone with me. Even yung mga tao na nakalakihan ko, wala around me, no. So I was on my own. Of course, with my husband back then. And ang hirap kasi pag nasa ibang bansa ka, you do everything on your own eh. 'Di ba? So, when I first had my son, sobrang mixed emotions kasi ano yan, andyan na yung sobrang takot ka, 'di ba? First pregnancy mo yan, takot ka. Tapos yung makagat ka lang ng langgam, pupunta ka sa doktor, yan. Yung mga naranasan ko dati. Actually, nakagat ako ng malaking centipede dati. So, feeling ko yung anak ko magiging alien, ganyan. No? Um, uh, but when he came out, finally, he came out. He was a big baby. No? 8 pound, 21-inch kid. Laki niya. No? So, it was, parang for the first time, feeling ko, kaya ko to. Gano'n. Kasi during the time na before, hindi mo alam eh, daming pumapasok na ideas and pictures inside your head na feeling mo hindi mo kaya to gawin, wala mommy mo dito, wala yung in-laws mo dito, wala yung mga kaibigan mo to help you out. And then, nung lumabas, parang may nag-snap. I know a lot of the mommies here in the room would probably relate to me, pero nag-snap na parang, alam ko na gagawin ko next. Yan. So, si Wolf was sobrang napapanaginipan ko pa yan bago ako manganak,
Mm.
no? As in, merong face na and everything. Hindi sakto, pero I had an idea of what he would look like. That was a few days before I gave birth. So, sobrang elated nung unang lumabas si Wolf. Elated. And then you feel so blessed. Sobrang blessed ako kasi, well, i-share ko na rin. I only have one ovary. No, so,
Wow!
yeah, I only have one ovary. Tinanggal yan when I was 14 years old. No, yung kabila, yung right ko was taken out when I was 14. And I never really thought that I would have a child.
Mhm.
Ganun siya. So, it's, parang ano bang term doon? Surreal. Yeah,
Mm,
napaka-surreal.
mm.
First kid ko.
Grabe,
I
that
had two.
that was a healthy ovary. Yung natirang ovary is
Actually, sobrang
napaka-healthy.
tibay ng ovary na yan. Nagpangalawang kid pa kami. Di
Ang
ba?
taray.
Ganyan katibay yan.
Ang galing. Okay, so, and then after Wolf, ilang years bago nasundan?
About 3 years. No,
Three
two and a
years
half
yung pag...
years. Almost 3 years.
Okay.
Yan.
Okay, sis,
Exactly.
eto na. Eto na tayo, no? So, syempre, si first, si son mo, si Wolf nga, di ba? Meron kayong pinagdaanan during,
Yes.
that was pandemic pa eh, di ba sis?
Yeah, last
2000,
year, 2021.
2021, right? So,
Mm.
can you tell us about it? What happened from the start? From the start talaga.
From the start, no,
Uh-uh.
actually, it started when I noticed he was losing weight. No,
Mm.
we went to his pedia for flu shots. That was around May of 2021. Ang weight niya noon was like 146 pounds yung time na yon. No, he was 146 pounds. And then pagdating ng mga ah, June, July, napansin ko naglo-lose siya ng weight. I always ask him kung nagda-diet ka ba, ganyan. And then, sa sobrang takaw ng anak ko, na-realize ko na parang ang konti niya kumain. So I had him check, around July yan. I had him check what's wrong, why is he losing weight? At first, the doctors didn't know where to look. No? Lahat na ng klase ng test tinry namin. As in, lahat blood, heart, in-ECG siya, in ultrasound siya, in X-ray siya, uh, lahat na. Lahat na ng klaseng test na meron. No? Tinry for him. And then they couldn't find any answer. And then finally, um, uh, yung pedia referred us to a hematologist to check if it was malignant, something malignant. Ang pinaka-scary sa amin was they were looking at lymphoma, if it's lymphoma, so may mga other tests for that. And then later on, we were brought naman to a immunologist to check if it's something immuno illness, some kind of autoimmune disease, no? And then they couldn't find anything. So during this time, I was just worried that my son is still losing weight. No? And then later on, sabi ko, every morning, napansin ko, he would go to the bathroom. As in, when he wakes up, diretso sa bathroom. And then I said, it might be something sa gut. No? Baka kasi he's been, like, kasi syempre medyo malaki na siya, no? 13 na siya. He's turning 14 this year. So baka nahihiya siya. I-open up sa akin, being me as a girl, ganyan, di ba? So we went to a gastroenterologist. And then this lady, una sabi niya, sige, let's have an x-ray again, but this time of the abdomen. Kasi nung una tinitingnan din kung may TB siya eh. So lungs lang yung in-x-ray sa kanya.
Mm.
So we had an x-ray of the abdomen and then they found that she found na lahat there were like 3 areas lang ng intestines niya na clear. The rest is blocked. So in short, hindi nag-absorb na ng maayos ng nutrients yung body niya and everything is blocked. But I told the doctor, every morning he goes to the bathroom. Every morning he voids, no? So sabi nung doctor, that means meron na siyang leak somewhere. So this was around ano na to, ang tagal kasi ng mga test with the other doctors, di alam ko what was wrong with him. And then sometime October, yun na, yung gastroenterology. So, di ba, from July to October, hindi namin alam ano nangyayari. So, as a mommy, the fear of, anong meron, di ba? Mas sobrang
Oo.
nakaka-panic.
Tsaka
So,
the more na hindi mo nalalaman, parang the more na lumalala siya, 'di ba?
and kung ano-ano naglalaro sa utak mo. Is this cancer?
Mm,
Is
mm.
this
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
Is this that? Um, So when nung October, sabi nung gastro, I think I need to do a colonoscopy and endoscopy. Kasi she was already saying this might be an irritable bowel disease. But the thing is, yung iniisip niyang disease ng son ko is only usually for Caucasians. So it's not really a Filipino disease.
Filipino thing, oo.
Oo, it's seen in Caucasian. So, of course, history taking, wala naman kaming Caucasian blood. But she also said, lately, nakikita siya sa Philippines and my son was only her third or fourth case na ganon sa Philippines. Pero pinaka-severe yung sa son ko. No, so, colonoscopy na kami. Sabi ko, okay, sige. I had my medical insurances naman. O sige, Asian yung available na doctor that time. So sabi niya, okay, sige, colonoscopy tayo sa Asian hospital. Okay, covered naman. Now, pagdating doon, sabi nung doctor, since he's a child, gusto niya i-confine yung anak ko because we don't know yung kailangan niya ng time for the anesthesia to wear off.
Mm.
Okay, so confined kami for a night. Colonoscopy procedure na niya. And um, medyo dito nag-start yung dreaded moments ko na tumawag sa akin yung OR. I was waiting for him sa room kasi colonoscopy lang naman, di ba?
Yeah.
Just checking, ganyan. Tumawag sa akin and then they said, Ma'am, Doctora needs you here. She needs to talk to you down here. So, syempre, ako, oh my God, what's wrong? 'Di ba? They were supposed to just be there for an hour. Tapos, akyat na, balik na kami, wear off, and then uwi na. So, when I went down, kita ko na yung doctor medyo puzzled pa kasi alam kong kabado din siya, no? So, sasabihin niya sa akin. So, she said, during the colonoscopy, they saw a tear in there's a perforation sa kanyang intestines. Hindi ko lang matandaan kung anong part, no? But, sabi niya, but whilst he's still under, we need to do an emergency operation. Sabi ko, so ako, shock na ako, in shock na ako, ha? Teka lang, operation, ganyan, paano nagkabutas and all that? Um, they had to look for a pediatric surgeon during that time, and they were trying to call three. Unfortunately, walang available ng first two. So finally, they got one who was willing to go to Asian, and he went there. And then yun na, as in everything sobrang bilis. I was outside the operating room, and then ang tagal. And then they asked me to go up na lang sa room. Buti na lang, one of the blessings that I saw in this situation is buti na lang nagpa-confine kami. Right?
Mm.
Kasi um, at least may babalik ka na agad na room yung son ko. And so I went back to the room. I waited there. And it was, I think, the worst 3 hours of my life. Sobra. I remember, ito na, nag-uumpisa na. I remember praying so hard na wag naman mamatay yung son ko, alam mo yun. And it was really difficult. And sorry, this is the first time I'm sharing it kasi
Go.
um and it was so hard na naghihintay ka doon, and then I was on my own. Syempre hindi pwede pumunta parents ko kasi pandemic pa during that time, and I didn't have someone with me there, and lahat talaga nung stress was on me, alam mo yun, and it's ngayon naniniwala na ako when people say na sobrang hirap yung feeling ng parent na mawawalan ng anak. Because eto na yun eh, no, dito pa lang may sakit pa lang siya. Alam mo yung usually sinasabi natin, sana ako na lang.
Mm.
So, I was just waiting for the doctors to call me. And then, ano yata ako doon, nakasampung rosary ako noong time na yon, no? And then, I was also praying yung kay Our Lady of Guadalupe, yung kanyang yung mga novena and all that. And during this time, I just didn't know what to do. All I had to do was wait. So finally, the doctor called me, and then they said, we are still trying to repair, his colon, and I just needed to wait a little while longer. Now he was still doing fine so far, and then I think one of the biggest relief that I had was when they finally told me, "Mommy, okay na po, closing na kami," and all that, and we will have him up in his room maybe in an hour or two kapag okay na lahat ng sutures nila and nakapag-count na sila ng kanilang mga instruments and all that. No? So, sabi ko, okay, 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 good, good. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Ako na, thank you, Lord. Lahat na yata ng deal na nasa isip ko, Lord, kapag inano mo yung anak ko dito, pag sinave mo siya dito, eto gagawin ko for life, yung mga ganon, no? Um, but ultimately, eto yung itsura ko siguro inside Pero outside, I just couldn't. No, I couldn't break down. And I was always telling myself na my son can see me, alam mo yun, miserable when he comes up and
Mm.
opens his eyes. So, it was it was very, very difficult time. Pero, hindi pa ito yung natapos. Hindi pa dyan natapos. No? So, my son was brought up to our room, no? And then he couldn't he was not allowed to. Can you still hear me? Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
He was not allowed to eat or drink anything by mouth for 8 days. No? So all of his nutrients were through the IV. So they had something na nakapack. 1,800 calories yon na puro nutrients, dumadaan lang lahat sa swero
IV.
niya.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. But the thing is, this thing is so thick na pumuputok yung veins niya. I think sa duration ng hospitalization namin, we were at the hospital for almost a month, no? 1 month. Um, sa duration ng hospitalization niya, lahat na ng veins, as in wala na silang mahanap because nagpuputukan because sobrang kapal ng ng fluids that was going in. And every time they have to find another vein, syempre may you see your child hurting, no?
Mm-mm.
It's something that I don't really want other people to experience. No. Um but apart from that, so they were telling us na okay baka basta matanggal na natin yung pag pwede na siyang mag-eat ganyan, then after a few days, we can discharge you. Okay, sige. So I was thinking maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 days kami sa hospital. But it so happened na on the 8th day pa lang tinanggal yung swero niya for the nutrients. And then, the doctors couldn't give him any food. So, naka-milk lang siya. Ano yung mga Ensure, Pediasure, ganyan. Um, and then, he started having a hard time breathing. And then the doctors found out that his left lung was filling up fluid. And sobrang dami ng fluids nung nasa left lung niya. They tried antibiotics. Iba't ibang antibiotics yung tinry nila. But hindi siya nagwo-work hanggang sa naging 700 ml na yung fluid sa lungs niya. And he was already having a hard time breathing. And sobrang bagsak. Yung mga friends ko na doctors were really scared kasi yung nagde-desaturate siya, nagbe-below yung normal levels ng oxygen niya sa body. So that's scary. Um, so they had to do another surgery no, for his lungs. And it was even scarier than the first one kasi lungs yun eh,
Mm-mm.
right? So they were telling me that they might have to put like they will drain the fluids and then they have to put something na masakit for him. So they needed to do a lot of pain management sa kanya kasi they already know how painful that's gonna be. But thankfully, yung nangyari sa surgery niya was yung least worst scenario, yung pinaka-ideal scenario that they wanted. No? So that one, it's just that when he came up, pabalik to room, meron siyang drain dito. Ano? So may drain siya for the colon and then may drain siya for the lung. So they didn't know what was happening to him ba kasi normally it happens lang to senile patients, no? Yung mga
Mm.
sobrang tanda na. It's
Mm-mm.
pneumonia, no? So um they're always checking the lungs. And then finally,
meron silang antibiotic na parang feeling nila is working. Uh, whenever every time that we feel like we're out of of danger, meron na namang nangyayaring iba. So during
Mm.
this time, we thought he was reacting well to the antibiotics. And then biglang we found out yung next ultrasound niya, yung right lang naman nag-fill up ng fluid. No? So may drain na siya sa left eh. So I was like, ano
Yung right
nangyayari?
naman this time.
Right naman this time. So I was like, ano nangyayari? Bakit ganito na hindi naman dapat bata yan, malakas yan eh, di ba? Ganon. Um, so they said, sabi ng isang doctor, sige, binalik yung immunologist. He had different kinds of doctors during that time already. Um, so, meron kang, uh, uh, basta iba't ibang doctors na, no? And then, sabi nila, sige, they were checking for something wrong with his immune system. And then the results came back. As in lahat ng immune markers niya bagsak. As in bagsak. And they needed to do something kasi pag bumagsak ba yon, pwede siyang magka-cancer of some sort. You know? So they I just told them, do what you think you can, as fast as you can. No? And and I think during that time, finally, sabi ng isang doctor, there is this medicine, mommy, na antibiotic. Ito na yung best in the market. Pinaka top na to na antibiotic. Pag ito hindi pa nag-work, we have to operate ulit. No. So, thankfully, no, thank God talaga na nag-umpisa na siya mag-work. Tapos hanggang sa this was already like three weeks or a little over 3 weeks na kami nito sa hospital. Na yung ultrasound niya finally, yung left lung, totally na drain na. Wala
Mm.
na siyang fluids na delikado. And then the right lung, kumukonte na rin. So that means medyo nagre-respond na
Respond
siya.
na maayos. Yeah.
So, sabi ko, Lord, ano ba? Ayoko. Ang sakit umasa, di ba? Tapos biglang meron na namang something. So, luckily, yun na yung last. No? All we had to do was wait for the doctors to take out yung mga, isa-isa nang tinanggal yung mga nakakabit sa kanya. And then, yung mga veins niya, sabi ko, if we stay here another week, wala na silang makukuha na veins. Kasi
Mm.
sobrang dami na niya. They even put medicine na on his puncture wounds. Ganun na siya kadami. Kasi
Mm-mm.
baka ano naman siya, ma-infect. No? So, um, it was, all I could do is help him make his stay as comfortable as he can. No? Um, during this time, kapag kailangan paltan siya, kasi naka-diaper siya, syempre, di ba? So, ako lahat gumagawa nun. Ang laki-laki na yung bata, pero ako yung nag-change ng diaper. If he needs to sit up, ako yun. The nurses would normally tell me na Mommy, ang galing, no? Ikaw gumagawa lahat. Kasi I just felt na yun lang yung kaya kong gawin for my son that time. And it's all, it's all like, um, wala eh. As a parent, as a mom, wala kang magagawa eh. So you have to put your faith in God. You have to put your faith in the doctors. I pray for them. So every time pumapasok sila sa room, I always pray for them. Sabi ko, Kuya Doc, I'll pray for you a little. Ganyan. Tapos very short prayer lang. And even the doctors, naiiyak na kasi nakikita nila umiiyak ako every day. No, and then they even asked if I wanted to see a psychologist. Kasi same with my son, if he needed a psychologist. Kasi it was a very, very traumatic experience. Not just for me, but especially for my son. Kasi hindi naman ako makapagreklamo. na nahihirapan ako because alam ko kung gaano nahihirapan yung anak ko with everything, with all the pain that he was feeling. Alam mo yung 4 days nga lang na naka-IV ka, ayaw mo na eh. 'Di ba? Sakit ng uncomfortable na nun. And then you have a 30-year-old who's had different sites punctured in him and for a whole month. So, sobrang hirap. Sobrang hirap nung gano'n na experience. So, and I just tried not to break down. I just tried not to make him see na, alam mo kapag kumakain ako, kasi syempre, I have to feed myself kasi ako yung nag-aalaga sa kanya, I can't be weak, di ba? I have to go out of the room. Kasi nilalabas ko yung food ko, doon ako sa labas ng door ng anak ko, doon ako kumakain. Ng 5 minutes, matagal na yon. Kasi I didn't want him to see me eating kasi he cannot eat eh. No? He can't eat and it would be more difficult for him if it will be more difficult for him if makikita niya ako na kumakain, maaamoy niya yung food.
Matatakam siya.
Exactly. So, syempre, I didn't want that. So, as a parent, you do everything you can. And then, things like this, you're put into a position that you just can't do anything. You just, wala eh. Wala kang magagawa. And at least doctor ka din, di ba? Not unless. But one of the few things that it really helped is every day I was talking to God. So, every day I was talking to every day my friends, family. They would normally ask me how I am, how Wolf was, and all that, and even the doctors. The doctors would normally give me personal messages, so encouraging messages, and it was something that also helped me throughout those times. Otherwise, mapapraning ka talaga.
Mm, mm.
Nakakaloka. Magkaroon nga lang ng lagnat or yung COVID nga lang, di ba magkaroon ng COVID yung anak mo, parang sobrang takot ka na eh, di ba?
Mm.
Um, and it's a lot of different kinds of things. So, and I'm just very grateful. That's why I said I'm very grateful that I was able to surpass all of that. Ayan, may mga taga office dito, sinasabi na first time nila marinig. Kasi, di ba
Yeah,
sabi
eto.
ko, this is the first time
From
that I'm sharing it talaga.
grabe sis. Eto, mag-ano muna tayo, basahin muna natin ang mga messages ng iyong mga friends. Si Bernadette, I love you, Ricci, virtual hug. And of course, si Miss Janet, this is the first time I heard the full story. I remember praying every day for you and Wolf. When we heard about it, hugs, anak. Ayan, pinag-usapan lang natin si Miss Janet kanina.
Yeah, oo, alam ko
Ayan.
yun.
And
May
of
months.
course, si JB, thank you for watching. Hugs daw, sabi ni JB. Sis,
Hi guys. Yes.
alam mo, just hearing your story, so, pinipigilan ko umiyak na. Kasi pag umiyak na ako, hindi na ako makakapagsalita. Tapos
Oo,
natawa.
hindi. Huwag kang
So,
plastic. Nakikita kita umiiyak ka kanina.
ang hirap sis. Ang hirap magpigil. Pero sis, alam mo, ayun, naiiyak na ako. Nakakaiyak.
Siyempre, mommy ka
Anyway.
din. Kasi, di
Oo,
ba?
sis. Teka, hihinga rin ako, no? Pwede bang nakikinig na lang? Wag na lang nagsasalita. Anyway, okay. So, kaya naisip ko yung mga pinagdaanan mo nung bata ka. How you were raised to be a very religious person. Having that kind of faith with the Lord. Kasi, you were really prepared for this, di ba? I mean, if not for your faith, you would have reacted differently.
Yes.
How do you feel, or ano sa palagay mo yung mga bagay na nakapag-prepare sa'yo para pag dumating tong bagay na 'to, you will be able to respond accordingly, and at as in sa will pa rin ni Lord yung paghahawakan mo?
Well, I think yung bringing up part naman ng parents natin is will always be there. But ultimately, as we grow up, we do our own decisions, 'di ba? We are the ones who decide if I will be this kind of faith, will I be joining this kind of faith, 'di ba? But ultimately kasi, I believe, at least for just myself, um, I think what prepared me the most here is talagang, well, number one is faith. No, yung faith ko talaga in God. Even when I was first operated on, when I was 14, mas matindi pa faith ko kaysa sa parents ko. Like, um, they would cry their eyeballs out nung time na yon. And now I understand why they were doing that. No. But I think I was still the one who gave my parents faith during that time when I was young, when I was operated on. Because I would normally tell them, huwag kayong umiyak, operahan lang ako, tulog ako, pagising ko, gising na ako, nasa kwarto na ako ulit. Ganon. Ganon ka, no? Ganon ka, ewan ko, ganon ka strong yung faith ko, ganon ka strong na alam ko everything will turn out fine. But I think that's one talaga. You have to hold on to something. It doesn't matter if you're Catholic, if you're Christian, if you're whatever kind of religion, as long as you hold on to something, a higher power that you know that even though that you don't see them, even though you don't see that faith that you are always, praying to, in the end kasi, genuinely dapat yung
Mm.
faith mo is genuine eh. Hindi
Yes.
dahil gusto mo lang ipakita sa Facebook na nagpe-praise the Lord ka, di ba? But kung genuine kasi yung faith mo, it gives you the strength from within.
Yes.
No? It gives you a sense of sanity. No? Kapag ka medyo alam mo may panghahawakan kang belief, may pinanghahawakan kang pananampalataya, and alam mo there's a higher power who's gonna help you get through everything, who's gonna make everything okay. No? So that's
How
one
was
of it.
Wolf in all of this is? Nung, kasi sinasabi mo when you were younger, matapang ka and then you were giving, parang you were showing your family that you're
Yes,
strong,
yes.
you're faithful, ganyan. Was Wolf like that during all this?
Actually, yes. Actually, yes. Not an ounce of tear, not a drop of tear from my son during that 1 month. And he would, if whenever he can, he would give me a smile. And then he'd say, "Love you, mommy." Ganon. So, it's just that during the first 8 days, he really couldn't talk or smile or anything. Kasi he had a tube eh. He had a tube that goes from the mouth through the throat and down to his intestines. And then he had the nasal thing, and then may mga swero na. So, um, he actually gave me a lot of strength during that time. Kasi parang naisip ko, tibay itong anak ko. Parang ako lang nung bata, di ba? But he never cried, not once. He never complained, not once. And I'm very blessed to have that kind of child. Um, Hindi siya yung nagsabi, "Mami, ayoko na dito, ayoko na ganyan." Wala. Wala ka narinig. In fact, niloloko pa niya ako kasi sabi niya ang haba-haba na ng buhok niya, na humaba na yung hair niya sa hospital. Tinatali ko ng gano'n, no? So, it was something talaga na, ayan, haba na yung hair niya kasi bawal siya. That was him. Yung graduation niya, that was June, May of 2021. So, if you can see, medyo chubby pa siya dyan. And then, the other picture was just recently, yung first time niyang nakalabas ng bahay. So, this last April lang siya actually na nakalabas ng bahay. So, yan, kaya kahaba yung hair na niya. Sobrang payat niya. But he, during that time, even up to now, kasi alam mo, Heidi, when we were discharged, he wasn't allowed to eat anything for 3 months. So from November to February of this year, ang ang food niya lang is 8 bottles of Ensure a day. Alam mo yun? And ang mahal lang isang bottle noon, sobra. Hindi ako umiiyak sa presyo, pero um, it's so hard kasi Pasko pa noon. Di ba? Pasko pa noon eh. And then, we had a picture pa nga sa Facebook wherein
Mm. Yung
walang
handa niyo ng
nakalagay,
Pasko.
oo, walang nakalagay sa table. Lahat kami naka-milk or liquid. And then nag-cheers kami. Kasi si Wolf couldn't eat anything. Um, and it was only no February that he started, nagsabi ng doctor na, okay, sige, we can start him with food. So yung mga food niya is just plain cheese and one bread. Ganon, ganon lang yung mga food niya, no? Hanggang sa ngayon, kahit ano, pwede na yung, pwede na niyang kain. Um, so I think, he gave me a lot of strength. And he's actually the one also fortifying my faith. Kasi the doctors did tell me, but later on they told me na parang he was on the verge of dying because um, akala nila hindi kakayanin ng body niya yung surgery, and then yung nagka-fluid sa lungs, tapos nahihirapan na siya huminga. So, during that time, kita mo lumalaban siya. And he tries to keep a positive mind. Um, and he jokes around with me kapag nakakapagsalita siya, no? So, so in that sense, I'm very blessed to have that kind of child talaga. Ayun, I
Sis,
think,
what are you thankful for? After all of this, anong pinagpapasalamat mo talaga?
well, first of all, syempre, thankful ako dahil he was able to get through everything hanggang sa nung finally pwede na siya kumain. Next is, I'm super thankful din. We were surrounded with love. No? Kahit na single mom ako, kahit na, although alam naman ng dad nila what was happening also, no? But during that time that you needed physical presence of love, people gave that to us. Sa company where I work at, um, sa family namin, yung close friends ko, yung mga amigas ko from way back grade school, they were always there. Yung amigas ko, the people I grew up with na naging doctors, they would go there also. Doctors din sila sa Asian kasi, so they checked up on us. And then we were really surrounded with love from different kinds of people. And of course, I'm very, very thankful financially na daanan namin lahat, no? Financially. Um, the the love that one of the love that we received was from friends. They chipped in to a certain amount. Same with people from my company where I work at. So they chipped in. And of course, I'm very thankful that I work in this industry because I kind of have knowledge of what to prepare for. So I was really prepared financially because I remember first 3 days na confinement namin. Sabi sa akin, um, nung meron akong medical insurance for work, di ba? May HMO. And then sabi nila, ma'am, ang mako-cover lang namin sa HMO mo is up to 360,000. So ako naman, wow, o sige, malaki pa yun, 360. Yung, yung ano pala, yung nutrients that they were giving my son was 10,000 per pack.
My gosh. So, kulang pa yung
And
360.
yeah, 10,000 per pack, and they were giving him, and we had that one for like 8 or 9 days. So doon pa lang nasa 90, 10 or 100,000 na. No,
Mm-mm.
and then Pagdating ng day 4, sabi ko, Anong running balance? Ma'am, 480 na po. Sabi ko, oh my God, lagpas na ako sa HMO. Um, so, of course, like what I said, I'm very thankful that I'm part of this industry kasi may backup ako, di ba? May
Yeah.
medical insurance ako which covered everything talaga. And then, nagka kasi may ibang parang hindi covered during that time yung mga professional fees, no, na grabe ang charge. So,
Ang dami pa
yung
namang
mga
doktor ni
yung
Wolf.
mga Oo, sobra pito yung doctors niya eh. So, yung mga hindi na cover ng medical insurances ko, I had to cash out. I still shelled out around 380,000. So, yung mga help ng family and friends, yun naman din yung ginamit ko pang bayad para ma-discharge kami. But I'm still overall very thankful kasi our bill was around 2.8 million. And I didn't know, if I didn't have any of those, saan ko kukunin yun? Di ba, yung 2.8 million na yun. Tapos nagkataon pa na nasa Asian kami. Diyos ko, Lord talaga. So, yeah, I'm thankful, number one, for my faith. And then, second, for the people around us who give us all the love in the world. And then, I'm also very thankful that I was blessed with the knowledge, of course, of being prepared. Because iba talaga eh. Iba yung feeling nung first 3 days, kabado ko na saan ako kukuha ng pera and all that. No? And then, later on, hindi ko na siya iniintindi talaga. I was really
Mm-mm.
concentrating on taking care of my son. And sabi ko, bahala na later on kung sana hindi malaki yung i-cash out ko. But technically I was always calling the hotlines. Covered ba kami? And they keep checking and assuring me, yes ma'am, covered kayo, gano'n. So it's really a big thing. Like, I hope that your viewers here would also understand the gravity of of course being prepared financially kasi you can't get the best care talaga if
Yeah.
Siyempre, let's face it, di ba, Heidi? The best care means you have to also pay for more, right? And regardless of whatever happened to us, I'm still very grateful that that his operations were successful, that he had a very, very positive aura, my son. No? And of course, we were able to pay and not have to sacrifice anything else
Mm-mm.
just to get out of the hospital. So, I'm still very grateful. We're still battling yung condition niya right now kasi hindi pa tapos, no? But I'm hoping that soon everything will be okay. Faith
Mm-mm.
talaga number one sa lahat. Kasi alam nyo guys, dagdagan ko na, ang hirap ko. My mom was diagnosed naman of cancer noong August actually.
Last
Halos kasabay,
August?
yeah, August 21. Halos kasabayan nung son ko. Um, but she was operated on cervical cancer. But we just found out a few days ago na nag-metastasize to her gallbladder. So, yun naman din ang kailangan naming daanan ngayon, no? Kasi she'll have her first chemo on Saturday. So, but overall, alam mo yun, it's still, ganun pa din. We are still blessed. Meron din siyang mga coverage. So,
Mm-hmm.
that's great. Hindi kami masyadong like, oh my God, saan natin kukunin yung panggamot and all that. Plus, yun nga, our family talaga is filled with love and people who love us. And wala akong masabi na nandito pa din kami ngayon. Dito pa yung son ko, nandito pa yung mom ko, nandito pa ako, and all that. So, ano talaga, genuinely, I'm just very blessed. I feel blessed that I'm still here. And I'm still working. No. So,
Sobrang
yeah.
grace ni God, no? Grabe
So,
talaga. Sis,
grabe.
ang dami mong na-share sa amin, um, ang dami mong words of encouragement that you were able to share with us based on your own experience. But
Yeah.
are there still any final message that you would want to share with our viewers? Please go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I think when it comes to challenges, or when it comes to ika nga ni Heidi, your faith being tested, di ba? When it comes to that, I think each and every one of us should learn that we can't do everything alone. No, we can't go through this life on our own. No. So when your faith gets tested, all you have to do is turn to love. Turn to people who love you. Turn to a God who loves you. Turn to um those things that make you feel loved. Kasi ultimately, yun yung kailangan mo. Kasi when you're tested, syempre feeling mo, ano ba nangyayari? Am I still worthy to live? Am I still worthy to, to go on with my life? Doon nangyayari yung mga nagsusuicide eh. Di ba? So whenever your faith is tested, just go to where love is. Um, with anything, yung love ng ibang tao na mafe-feel mo, yung love na pwede mong ibigay also to other people, yung love mo for God, yung love ni God for you. These are things that will help you get through it. And ika nga, well, I'm just gonna quote something from the Bible, no, from James 1. I remember nakasulat doon, um, consider it pure joy, no, whenever you face trials or of different kinds of trials, no, because you know that the testing of your faith will strengthen your endurance. Yan. In this life of ours, we need that endurance. Kasi meron at meron darating na challenges in our lives. And there's no escaping that. Wala namang nabubuhay nang walang problema.
Tama.
Right? So, also, be kind to other people. Because you don't know what they're going through, eh. Right? Um, Especially nowadays that there are a lot of people suffering from the pandemic, from the aftermath of the pandemic, from different kinds of things na lumalabas ngayon because nagka-COVID, no? Um, so be kind to people. Because you never know what kind of burden they're carrying, right? And ano pa ba? And lastly, of course, always have a plan. Hindi po pwedeng when I say plan, not just of course dahil nag-work ako sa insurance company, no, but have a plan na when things happen, and it will, no, death and illnesses, inevitable yan, right? It will happen. So have a plan. Have a plan for your kids. Have a plan for your own future. Have a whether it's monetary, whether it's kung sino man yung pwede mag-alaga ng whatnot, always have a plan. It may not, yung plans mo may not happen the way you want it, but it's better at least you're prepared for things like this. Have a plan to have stronger faith, have a plan to have a strong mindset, have a plan financially, and have a plan on who you can turn to when it comes to really, really tough times in your life. Kasi doesn't matter kung isang tao lang yan, Heidi, or 10 or 100. As long as you have at least one person who you can turn to, no? Kahit gaano kababaw yung trials mo, kahit sa love life lang yan, no? Um, you need people. No? You need people to love you. You need people. Sometimes we forget that we have people who love us and care for us dearly. So have a plan always to turn to them. Every time na you feel like, ano ka na, pasan ko ang daigdig ang feeling. No? So, I guess I would like to leave our viewers or your viewers, no, with, um, I hope that you were able to, I was able to inspire and motivate you guys, no, to to be very grateful and thankful for what you have right now, no matter how small, no matter how big. Um, And yun lang, always have that certain um, strength when it comes to your faith, strength when it comes to uh, mental, sabihin ko sana mental challenges, parang baliw, no? But when it comes to mental strength, yan, you should have that one also. Physical strength, be healthy, love yourself, and of course, financially, hindi naman palagi Pasko, hindi tayo lahat mayaman, no? So, strengthen also your finances. Yun lang.
Grabe sis. Sobrang thank you. In everything that you said, I can only see that it's really God's grace that we are all parang di ba bound to have talaga. And I'm really happy that hindi man naging maganda yung experience mo, but this also prove how faithful you are to the Lord, and God is sovereign, and talagang lahat ng pinangako niya sa atin in his words talagang tinutupad niya sa lahat ng mga nangyayari sa atin. I'm really glad that kayong dalawa ni Wolf at ng buong pamilya na nagpasan niyo itong trials and tribulation na ito without questioning the Lord. Yun din siya. Parang for some people, they would already, di ba, question why this is happening, mabuting tao naman tayo. But then again, hindi ka pa rin, the faith was really unwavered. Talagang, you, all the more that you hang in there, and all the more that you ask the Lord for guidance, for protection, and for provision. And gusto ko rin again, not because we are in this industry of insurance, and pero most of my clients would also say na insurance is really God's grace. Kasi who would have thought, di ba, that you will be able to use an insurance. And
Right.
all the more the reason why we're getting it while you're still healthy, while none of these things are happening. Kasi nga, tama ka, that's a plan that you have prepared for something that might happen in the future. So, thank you so much for reminding us of all these things, sis. Thank you for being so vulnerable. Grabe, sobrang, I feel so honored, sis.
Oo nga
Grabe,
eh.
grabe na nakikita rin ng mga tao, yung mga nagko-comment din sa atin ngayon, they would
Oo,
also
hindi ako
say
kasi
na,
talaga showy.
yeah, and they would also say that this is their first time hearing this story. Thank you so much for being vulnerable. Ayan, powerful message, sabi ni
Oh, eh, si
Adeva.
Chuck. Hi, Chuck. Actually, si Chuck was one of my advisors sa previous companies ko. So,
Wow. Ayan, thank you, Chuck, for being here. Ayan, sobrang thank you, sis, and thank you again for being vulnerable, for sharing your story, and of course for Wolf's story rin. Kaya tanong ako ng tanong, sis, okay lang pa pag-usapan natin to? Because
okay
I
lang
know that
naman.
this is really something na sobrang personal sa inyong mag-ina. But
Ayan.
thank you for being here. Guys, I hope that you were able to get a thing or two. I know there's a lot. Doon sa mga sinabi talaga ni Ricci over here. And if you are in that position, if you are a mother and you feel that somehow along the way kayong mag-ina hindi kayo nagkakasundo, kayong mag-ina meron kayong mga pinagdadaanan, I'm sure that you wouldn't want to be in that kind of situation where both of your faith will be tested. So I hope that after this episode, if you were able to hear it in our podcast, if you were able to uh, view it here sa ating Facebook live, I hope that after this episode, you hug your kids. If you are a kid, you hug your mom. Sobrang tomorrow is not promised, 'di ba? And sobrang hindi natin alam kung hanggang kailan, pero ang isa lang yung definite, we cling to love. 'Di ba? Katulad nga ng sinabi ni Richie, kapag dadaan ka sa tribulation, you turn back to love. Gustong-gusto ko yun. Thank you so much, guys. And again, sis, sobrang thank you for being here. And until next time, guys, ladies, do not ever forget that you can be the most empowered women that you are destined to be if you just believe in yourself. Bye!
Bye!